The Premier League will start in 2 weeks. Looking at the top teams, some of the teams have changed their manager. Chelsea, new manager. Liverpool, new manager. Arsenal still with their manager. Man United, Carrick, we can't really call Carrick a new manager, but he's still new to the job though. And Man City as well. Enzo Maresca. Tottenham as well. Looking at this team, what do you have to say about this manager coming in, and what effect do you think he will have on the league?
The truth is that some is going to flop. Let's be honest. Some is going to hit the ground running. So we don't really know who is going to hit the ground running. So there's a lot of mystery. There's a lot of the unknown in this season's Premier League. But the thing is that Arsenal is still the team to beat. They've bought well. Gomeros is a good signing for them, so they've solidified very solid in their midfield. I think they still like that firepower up front. I think they still like that in at number 9,
But they have Gyökeres now.
Gyökeres is not really that. I don't know if he will cut it for me.
I feel that this is the second.
Let's see how he plays out. I don't think he's a top tier striker. That is my belief. He may, I may be proven wrong. But they are still a team to beat. The good thing about Arsenal, they get goals from all areas. They get goals from all part of the team, which is good. They don't just depend on one player to give them 30 or 40 goals. Which is good. Man City have a good squad. They came good at the end back of the season last season. So they have a new manager. This manager has worked in Man City before.
Yes.
We don't know how it's going to feel to succeed in Guardiola. It's always difficult to succeed a great or a big coaches like that. So we'll see how I cope with that. But the good thing that they still have their good players together. We don't know if Rodri is going yet. That has not gone through yet.
It's going to likely go.
It's likely living, but that has not been solidified yet. So we'll see how that plays out. But I think Man United now, we can't say Man United is a bit stable from last season because Carrick was there from the second part of the season to this season. But he still need players.
So from the look of things now, you said that Arsenal, in terms of the coach, because of the stability of the coach.
Stability.
Okay, what is looking at the recruitment? I know you still mentioned Arsenal, they bought well. In terms of the recruitment, how do you think will affect not just Arsenal and the other teams? Chelsea bought some key players. Man United have bought 2-3 players.
Chelsea, Alonso, we don't know how Alonso is going to adopt to Premier League. This is not Bundesliga. You understand? Premier League, you'll be find that that's one thing about Premier League. You'll be find that very quickly. So
as a Chelsea fan, I still have my.
But the good thing the one thing that is going well for Alonso now, Chelsea is not in Europe. He's going to have more time to work with the player on the pitch. So he's going to have more time to drill the player, pass out his messages, formation, what you want from the player. That is the good thing. Chelsea has that advantage now over most of the club. Chelsea may just be a surprise package because Chelsea, don't forget, they still have good players. They have a good squad. You will take that away from them. They have a good team.
Looking at that Chelsea team, do you think it's a balanced team?
I think Chelsea kind of have two players in no position.
Not just having numbers in terms of quality.
I think they Chelsea have quality. Maybe the central defense, they may not have quality, but the midfield attack, I think they have quality all over the pitch.
Looking at that Chelsea defense, for me, I have as a Chelsea
that's what I said. I said the defense may not be kind of Kokoregla is gone now. So, but that's why I said the midfield, the attack, they can compete with most of other top teams in the Premier League. The defense may be a suspect. We see sometimes Alonso is known for 3 at the back. We don't know if he's going to implement
the back 3 yesterday was very solid.
Okay, back 3 is also a defensive-minded kind of formation.
Yeah.
So Chelsea has wingers to play that, to carry out to perfection. Let me put it that way. So Chelsea may just be a super package. Liverpool now. This coach from Bournemouth.
What do you think we should expect from Liverpool?
We don't know now. They have good players that came in last season. Have not hit the ground running. Isaac, Wise from Germany. These players didn't really hit the ground running last season. Hopefully, they'll get their scribe this season and hit the ground running. So you don't know. And it's a new coach. It's different for Bournemouth. Liverpool, you expect to win every week. You are expected to hit the ground running. So those are added pressure on these coaches. That some of these coaches are going to find it's not like when you are coaching Bournemouth or Liverpool, you lose 2 games, you pick form. You have to start winning.
You're not under scrutiny that much.
So that's the thing. The media the pressure from the fans, the demand to win is high.
Yeah.
You understand? So there's a lot of unknown. So when the Premier League kick off in 2 weeks' time, 2, 3, 4 games, we'll begin to kind of like see how the trajectory is going to look like. Are you getting my point? Because we can only say Arsenal are the champion. They still have their coach. They are added to their squad. So they are the team to beat.
Currently,
they are the team to beat because Man United, Man City, Liverpool, Spurs, Chelsea. There's a lot of unknown new coaches. Spurs now spend a lot of money. They've not done that. That is unusual. We don't know how those players are going to fit in. Spurs may just be the surprise package. Because another good thing about Spurs now, that coach has Premier League experience. He has the Premier League experience. So that
I think he's in a better team actually than previous team. Or you don't agree with that? I think I miss Spurs with the recruitment they are currently having now.
You may say you have a good recruitment, but how do they fit in? How do they perform? Spurs, there was a season Spurs who spent a lot of money bringing up by 5 or 7 players. It did not augur well for them. So it's not about bringing in players. All these players are gelling. But the good thing about Spurs now, most of the players are also from the Premier League. They have Premier League experience. So that will also count for something like.
Outside this top side we've mentioned now, you see, we didn't talk about Aston Villa. Aston Villa, they are currently in the Champions League as well. Newcastle, the coach stepped away, or I don't know if it was sacked, but they have a new coach now. Those are some of the teams that sometimes they come up with surprise. Like, even Bournemouth. You know, what do you think we should expect from those kind of teams?
I don't know about Bournemouth. I think it's good. I don't know. They have a new coach. They have a system. Bournemouth, the good thing, they have people in the background that run the club properly. So we don't know. They have a new coach also. Like Newcastle now have a new coach. They've sold most of their key players.
Aston Villa as well. They've sold Aston Villa have sold Tottenham as well. So
but the good thing that they still have their coach. That's what and Emery is always a good coach, a good technician. You know how to bring out the best out of players. You know, so that also counts for Aston Villa. That's why I say let's see first 2, 3, 4 games. We'll begin to see where the trajectory is going to head. Like, you know, if there some of this club, Chelsea, Spurs, if they can hit the ground running.
So from the look of things now, looking at the title race, I know it's still too early to see. Like you mentioned, say let's see for 2, 3, 4 games. From what we're seeing, like so far, the new coaches or the coach that has already been there, who will you predict will win the Premier League this season? For now,
I'm Man United fans. They pay me to say it. On paper, you will say Arsenal. The best thing that is set up to give them run for their money is Man City. Let's put it that way. It's going to be Man United, as I've said earlier on, we don't know which reinforcement is coming in. Like if Man United can bring. If Man United would have bring in like 3 or 4 players, you know, tested quality players.
Like those, Man United are going to go for those players, like you said.
I don't think so. Like I think Man United has become, I don't know, the management they don't want to spend money. Man United used to go and bring good players. Like I think they also try to kind of like take the club in a new direction. You can still learn. The problem Man United has had all over the years now, we overpay players, getting rid of them become problem. That has come back to bite us. That's why we are facing this problem. Most of these players in Man United, most of them are overpaid. Getting rid of them become a problem. I was reading an article yesterday and Jaissle is getting almost 100 or something a week. That is a lot. Which other club is going to get him?
Like really playing that much.
You understand? So imagine the club now. Even you are on that contract, you wouldn't want to leave. You understand? Look at Sancho. That's why they couldn't get rid of Sancho. Rashford. That's the problem we also have with Rashford now. Like so sometimes. Is a bitter pill for us, the fans, to swallow. But those things there has to be a drastic change, like you know, because we can't just continue that, be overpaying players without not performing. If we are winning trophy now, we have big wages, fine. Even during Ferguson, we were still able to sell players for good amount of money. Now, the going out has been very poor.
Exactly. How can you buy Sancho and don't even make 1 naira or 1
out of it, like
from him?
You know, so imagine the sign off is 75 million, the wages. That's the bad investment.
Just pay 30 million for Barcelona to pay 30 million for Rashford.
That's the problem because of the wages.
You know.
Imagine when Rashford has about 120,000, 300 something pounds a week. No other club is able to afford that. That's the problem, Man United. So there has to be a change in thinking, in culture. You know, the way we do things like.
So, Arsenal now, you say Arsenal for your prediction that you feel that Arsenal are seeing.
I think Arsenal is the driving seat. Yeah. Let's put it out there, the driving seat. Okay, Arsenal, another thing, like we don't know how the Premier League, how the officiating is going to look like this season. Yeah. Arsenal, the stock style of play also kind of like work in their favor last season. Yeah. So if they clamp down on that, like because Arsenal wasn't creating that much from open play, they brought in Gomez now, like. But let's see how the officiating that may just have a big change, like what we're saying, that maybe have a drastic impact on the Premier League also, like.
Looking at the top four, if Arsenal the favorite, which team do you think is going to make the top 4, top 5 going into the season? At
the end of the day, like, you just look at from last year, you say Man City, Man United. It's going to be between Liverpool, Chelsea. Those are the kind of like suspects you go for now. Okay. Because Chelsea now had an advantage. They are just like we do Man United, they're not the Champions League. Yeah. So
you don't think there will be any surprise from any of those other teams like we've mentioned, like, you know?
Maybe Spurs. Okay, yeah. Spurs also bought well, like maybe Spurs has been in the Champions League for 1 or 2 occasions now in the past 2 seasons. So Spurs may also be there. I think Spurs still need the striker. I think they still need the goal scorer. Like I think
in terms of transfers so far, teams that have most of those teams they've done business and all that. Who will you say has done they've impressed you in terms of their business?
I think so far? Spurs has done well, but they still need the striker. I think Arsenal has done well. Gomez is a big coup, like
that's a huge
Gomez is a big coup, like, you know, because they are in a stronger position and also strengthening that position they are, like, which is, you understand. Chelsea now, most of the players they bring, Chelsea has good player. Most of your player was not in the top of their form last season. Yeah. So hopefully they come good this season. Man City, I still kind of like skeptic about Rodri leaving, like, you understand? Anderson, you don't know how he's going to fit into that position. Team, and I don't think he can replace.
No, he can't. I don't think he can.
So you don't know how that is going to affect their rhythm. So there's a lot of unknown in this community, but you still back on those familiar faces. Yeah. There may be a bit of surprise. There's always surprise for the past season. Brighton has always been good, like. You understand? Yeah. Brighton has always been there. Like Brighton, they just missed out of Champions League last season. Yeah. So we'll see. There's Everton also did well. Like they did. So Moyes has been there now. Yeah. So there will be unknown anyway. There will be unknown, but he's still going to be the usual suspect. Like Spurs has strengthened where I think Aston Villa is still going to bring in more recruitment. Yeah. They have an experienced coach who knows the league. I think my worry is going to be Liverpool, Chelsea. The slight advantage Chelsea have, they don't have a lot of competition they are playing. That may work in the favor, like. So I think Alonso is also pragmatic because Real Madrid was able to dash his 3 at the back and adjust. So I think he's flexible in that department. Yeah. So if his 3 at the back is not working, he can readjust. He can, so maybe that will work in his favor. Like the Liverpool coach now, we don't know. Let's see. He's a good coach. Last season I wanted Man United to go for him. Like I said that to a few of my friends. Like I said, if Man United get rid of Amra, I wanted Man United to go for that guy. Like because I kind of like one thing I like about the new Liverpool coach. I like the way he improved players. What most of those players they kind of like average player was able to kind of like improve. That's one thing I love about the Liverpool coach. If he can have that impact on Liverpool, it's going to be huge. Like Liverpool is our biggest rival. Like if we can have that impact on Liverpool, the way he has in Bournemouth, that's going to be huge for Liverpool, like, because not every coach that can have impact on players, make average players to become better. I think Ferguson also has that kind of like skills in him, like, that's why I see him by this coach. That's why I was telling most of my friends. I think Man United before Carrick kind of like pop out from nowhere. Yeah. So we'll see other players like Bournemouth and Liverpool is a different ball game entirely.
That's right.
That's right.